Get it! Go.
What up? My name is Tableek, original member of Maspyke, Maspyke. Many adversaries seem perplexed while we crush egos. I'm also running with the Burnt Berry, myself, Tableek, the Ear Drugs, Dr. Baniff. So that's my family right there.
Alright, Tableek, how old are you?
I am 38.
38. And how long have you been rapping?
Let me see. I started probably like in the 8th, 9th grade.
Alright.
So 15, 16 years old.
And how long do you plan on staying around actually?
Well, you know what? I feel like, you know, like I was watching the Beat Diggers on the, it was about Jermaine Dupri. Not to put myself in that category, but he was speaking about Quincy Jones, and he was saying that Quincy Jones made Thriller when he was 50. Okay. So if Quincy Jones can make Thriller at 50, that's something to aspire to. That's the most amazing, you know, the biggest selling record of all time. So if he can do that at 50, I mean, I don't know when I'm gonna start rhyming. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Actually, well, if you take it that way, the best is yet to come for you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Cool.
I don't think if you MCing and you're not getting better, then something's wrong. You know, so yeah.
Okay. You rap? Do you also make beats?
I kind of started out on, you know, the DJing, kind of real digging in the crates kind of vibe. Now I don't, but I never was in one place long enough to like buy equipment and settle down. Like I was always moving, so I kind of just started writing, and so what I do now though is like if certain songs I contribute to the song, I'll add a sample that I think will work there. I arrange things when I'm doing my own records. So like what I'm working on now, the Hunting Bald Eagles and Other Ghetto Tales, like that particular record, like I have contributed to some of the production of the record. But I don't own an MPC, I don't own an SP12, I don't got a mixing board. I just go, I'm a studio head. That's how we kind of came into the game. We was going to D&D, we was going to Sony, we was going to studio. So that's how I kind of, you know, that vibe for me that never changed for me. That's what I like to do. That's like when I can be in my own, you know, in the studio vibe. That's what I like.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, since you told me your age, 38, are you married? Do you have children?
Good question. I have 2 beautiful, wonderful ex-wives, and I have 4 boys, 4 kids.
Okay. So marriage, especially children, did it change you as a man and as an artist?
Well, you know what I mean? I would say that it definitely, you know, kind of put my worldview in perspective when I first had my first son, you know what I'm saying? And I think that they kind of inspired me to think about what comes out of my mouth, you know what I'm saying? You're somebody's father, you can't be saying like, you know, well, some people can say whatever the fuck they want to say. I believe that I should say whatever I want to say. But a lot of what I write, I keep them in mind. Because
for outsiders, maybe especially for from a European standpoint, New England is by reputation very conservative, sort of white, Christian. Tell us about your New England.
It ain't white and it ain't Christian. And in fact, you know, New England consists of a lot of different cities, but for me, the ones that probably people would most know about would be like Boston. And if you were a little bit more in the States, you might know about Springfield, New Haven, Hartford. So that's, you know, like my family is mostly, my father is from Springfield, my mother is from Queens in New York. And
All
so
right.
My family, most of them was in New York. My mother's side of the family. No family in Boston, but I got a lot of people that's like my good close friends that's in Boston. You know what I mean? And but most of my family growing up, and when we would be going on vacation or going somewhere, we would go back to New York. So that's kind of where the going back and forth stuff comes from. But Springfield is very it reminds me of Queens. Very similar.
In terms of the
In terms
diversity?
of, like, you know, there's housing, houses, as opposed to a lot of big projects. Although there's projects in Queens, obviously, but like when you get out to Jamaica and further out a little bit, more homes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of West Indians. There's a lot of West Indians where I live at. Hartford, Connecticut too. Got mad West Indians there. So the thing about New England is that New York casts such a large shadow in the Northeast that, you know, so the New York sound really extends not just into New York, but it's also into New Jersey, into, you know, not really D.C. Don't really that things change around that area, but like New Jersey, Connecticut, Mass was like in hip hop very early on because they're very much within reach. I get to the Bronx in 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it takes me an hour and 40 minutes to get to Boston. So, you know, a lot of the people that live in Springfield are former New York people that moved to Springfield, and vice versa. You know, so it's just at the same time, like, I like it because that's you know, that's where I can be a little bit more relaxed than in New York. You know what I mean? But I can still get to do what I gotta do in the city.
Yeah. Rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live.
Yeah. I can run with that. That's Blaxparx to KRS-One. I can run with that.
You've said that that hip hop kept you off trouble in a way, made you the man you are today. How do you explain that basically the hip hop that works today is the one that talks about getting girls, getting cars, getting money, being shooting people around, like being the you know, the most dangerous guy, you know? Why?
Well, I mean, the main reason why they push that kind of, you know, pop music, and that's what it is now. And pop music really, for a while, has been about, you know, bubblegum shit. Because it's the young people that do things in the world that make change, you know what I'm saying? And I think that the people that run shit realize that, you know, you can't have young people listening to I'm Black and I'm Proud without getting black and getting proud. You can't have people listening to, you know, if you want them to be consumers, you can't have them thinking about where this products come from and why things are happening in Uganda and the Congo and why things are happening in Indonesia. And, you know, if you want them to be consumers, you can't have them thinking about that kind of shit. You can't have them concerned with what justice means for everybody. And, you know, why is it that you getting kicked out your motherfucking house and shit. You can't have them kind of thoughts happening. So you have to direct these children from the ages of 8 to 19, 20 thinking about how to get their dick sucked. You know what I'm saying? And girls thinking about how they can get with this dude or that dude and get money. And you have to do that and make people material-minded people if you want to control them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to throw sex, drugs, and all that kind of shit on them really hard too. I mean, you can't let up one bit. You know what I mean? Because if something else get their attention, they're going to change their whole mindset and they're going to change their whole way of thinking. So if you don't bombard them with that shit, thinking people will begin to think. You know what I mean? And young people will begin to question and want to know why, what the fuck's going on. And if you don't keep up the lie, parents got to keep up with the lie. The teachers got to keep up with the lie. Everybody got to keep up with the lie. So if the children realize that it's just some bullshit, then that's really a problem.
What message do you want to convey?
You know, intelligent, street, you know, philosophic truth. You know what I'm saying? And it might be contradictory in some places. In some places it might sound weird. In some situations it might sound very, very metaphorical. But I try to, tell stories. I try to, be true to the culture in terms of what an MC is supposed to bring in certain songs. You know what I'm saying? In certain songs you have to bring a certain aspect, I feel, or the music requires you to pull out a certain aspect, a certain style that is not necessarily reminiscent of anything before, but draws from that spirit. You know what I mean?
So you write lyrics. What's the ideal work environment for you to write?
Studio. I like to step into the studio with that, with something new. I need that bounce and hear that loud music. And if I can't do that, I'll sit in a car somewhere. You know what I mean? Park the car. Roll down the window a little bit, play the music, and write. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done that on a mountain. I've done that in the street. I've done that, in various cities. In various situations. But the preference is the studio. You know what I mean?
I was about to ask you if it was the first time you went overseas for music, but I believe it's not.
No.
No. All right. Where else?
First time I've been here.
First time in Holland.
Yes.
Where else have you been?
Dublin, London, obviously Canada, and Puerto Rico.
All right.
I need to be in Germany. Germany has always supported Maspyke big time. You know what I'm saying? And even all of the stuff that I've been doing after that. So I would like to get out there, definitely. But I'm gonna be going to France in a few days. So I'm hoping that'll be good.
All right. So you've been in several countries. Have you noticed differences in the way the hip hop culture manifests itself? Probably questions you were asked everywhere.
No. I'm laughing because what I find is that there's it's like the the shadow of hip hop, the shadow of New York stretches all the way around the world. You know what I mean? When people say they want to get to that authentic hip hop, they got to, there's this particular sound and style that's reminiscent of New York that people want to go to, and they're still drawn toward that, and that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing, particularly nowadays when everybody wants ding, 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 ding. Grab my balls. Not that wasn't even something that was happening back in the day. There was always them, silly records that was funny and nasty and whatnot. Big up to the Bay, Too Short, and all the cats out there that hold that down. They hold, and what's the names down there in Miami and all that shit. But that's cool and everything, and I feel like there's a lot of cats in the South that don't get their much deserved. They need their little plaques and they need their contribution to hip hop. Although most people know what that is already by now. I don't need to be speaking for them. But it's good to come over here and know that people still are still passionate about underground hip hop music. That's a good feeling, and it's inspiring. And it's
So after years of being in a crew, you're working solo now.
Yeah.
How is that like?
It's good. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm solo in the sense of like I'm just doing it by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what it is that I'm in control of the situation. With Maspyke, there was a shared control of the situation, and I love them brothers. That's my family. And I'm always, they know that I'm always down to do. I'm always trying to push them and trying to get them to do work. But everybody kind of doing their own thing. You know what I'm saying? I would say that the closest that you're gonna get to another Maspyke record is the album that I just finished up, because Roddy's and I worked on you know, the majority of the record was with Rob beats. So that's the closest you're probably gonna get to what would have been a Maspyke record, which was the next record that I'm doing. And I'm gonna add that I'm trying to get them to do another something, you know, before the end of the summer.
Before the end of the summer.
Yeah, hopefully.
Something else to look forward to then.
Yeah. And so, but right now, you know, me, the Air Drugs, Stan Illa, Truck Julius, Dr. Banif, you know, that's the folks that I run with. Famous Hill, that's the people that help us, you know, keep things moving. So.
Last question, maybe you're gonna hate me after that one. Do you know Soulja Boy?
Huh?
Do you know the beat maker Soulja Boy?
Of course.
You like him?
He is not what I would be listening to, no.
Thanks a lot. Just give us a few seconds. Tell us about, you know, the name of your last release.
The next record is a 7-inch with Faces Records. It's got Masterpiece Theater, which features myself, Black and Stan, Dr. Banif on vocals, and Jug. Dr. Banif produced the beat. The other side of the record is called Born, and it has myself, Stan Illa, Dr. Banif, and Black and Stan on there. And it's part of a 4-song project that was the first kind of Burnt Berry release that we did called Tabula Rasa, which means a blank state or a blank slate, you know, like kind of starting over. So we put that out. It was like 4 songs. So that's what kind of we started off with. And my man from Faces Records heard, I sent them those songs. He was like, yo, I want to do, you know, these 2 joints for 7 or so. That's how that came about.
Nice.
And what else we doing? Ear Drugs got ready. So I got a video for the new Subliminal joint that we just shot with some beautiful Muslim sisters, hijab sisters, that's like playing instruments and stuff, and it's dope. So that's going to be coming up soon. And what else? Oh, Hunting Ball Eagles and Other Ghetto Tales, that's the new record. We keeping it moving. You know what I'm saying? Burntberry.net is where we always going to put from now on. Like, that's, if it's something that we doing, if it's something that's going to come out for me, like, it's going to go there. So that's where you can peep out all of the music, the videos, free stuff that we're going to be giving away, whatever it might be. There's always free music on there. We always got some. We just uploaded my man Truck Julius got the instrumental record, King for a Day on there. Just put that up.